Morning, New York City Reloader here again. I did a video recently on my Mighty Armory die, and that really went well. But I also showed you a new press that I'm using, which is the RCB Summit press. So I wanted to take a few minutes and just go ahead and give you an overview of this press. I have three presses that I use on a regular basis. I have my Dillon 650, which I use to bulk load 223 and 9mm. And anybody knows anything about reloading on a Dillon, you typically have a single stage press in addition to your mass production press. So great, love my Dillon. Cranks out tons of 223, tons of 9mm, or tons of any other. Those are the two that I load on it. Everything else I load single stage because I don't shoot in the large quantities of those types of calibers. So I wanted to take a moment and show you the RCBS Summit for those of you who haven't seen it, and give you a little overview. This is my RCBS Summit press, and I've got it installed with the short handle. It originally came with the very long handle, which is great. If I'm doing something that requires a lot more force, I'll go ahead and add the longer handle, but doing quite well with the optional short handle. And you'll notice the mechanism is very much like the Foster press coax, and it comes up and down. So you place your brass here, whatever caliber, inside. This is a little tricky. You slide it in and then you turn it, and then once you do that, it locks it in place. It does have a D prime option, and it normally comes with a little basket. I went ahead and got this third-party option on eBay, which essentially hooks up in the same spot. Primer shoots down here, and it goes down in a tube similar to the Lee, and in this case it collects in a tube down the bottom. I'm going to shorten that, and I'm going to put another tube like I have on my Lee, where it dumps into an old gunpowder can. So I'm going to add that option, but for right now I have it going into this long tube, and it makes it simple for me to deal with. A few things. One is, you'll notice that it's very smooth. I mean, I'm doing a one-finger operation on this thing. Very smooth. And it's a different way to get used to, because typically when you're working on a press, you're moving the brass up into the die. In this case, you're moving die to meet the case. So it's a totally different operation. It's a nice looking press. It mounts to the table here. On this particular, I'm using a Franklin reloading stand, and I've got these foldable sides that fold down, and I've got two spots to mount it. I was looking for a third. Evidently there are a couple of versions of this prototypes that had a third option, but these two do a really good job of holding the press. It just does not move. It's really rock solid and stable. So I don't necessarily want to think of a better way or another method, since it mounts so well. This is also the press that I take on the road. I usually take my Lee off and bring this one when I'm going to be reloading at a match. If I'm on the road somewhere and I need to create some new ammo, I'll use that particular one. So great press. It's got a little lubrication nipple on the side. Look at that. Our press has got a nipple. And essentially you put the lubrication in here, squeeze it into the system, goes into this reservoir, and every time it goes up and down, it actually lubricates it. I'm not using it. I'm using this stuff called Micronized Silicon, and one of these days I'll do a video on that stuff. It's pretty amazing stuff. Maybe I'll bring out the can and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, just because we were talking about it, I just figured I'd pull it out. This is a product from a company called Interflon. It's called Fin Super, and it uses micronized particles of Teflon. So micronized Teflon. That's what I'm using on the press. First, it's really super clean, and the action of it is just like butter. There's just no wear on it whatsoever. It lasts well over a year, although I do clean my press religiously, which is why it looks brand new. And it could probably go for longer than that period of time. I also use this on guns because it's gun compatible. It's actually food grade micronized Teflon. So all those machines in the factory that do all sorts of productions and touching food, meat, poultry, that kind of stuff, they use this Interflon food compatible micronized Teflon lubrication. Does a fantastic job. About the press itself, just giving you a little bit more of a view. Very smooth, great linkage, really nice. There's a top view of it. It's very compact. There's some great videos on. I'll put a link to one or two, but guys are actually creating a mount for this and setting a whole reloading system in a 5-gallon bucket. I'm also going to make a 5-gallon bucket so that I can transport this real easy and get it mounted to my tailgate and start making them that way. Take up a lot less room than bringing this whole bench with me. But really, really smooth action. Really smooth. I'm going to pull the die out and show you a little bit about this mount as well, because there's a really nice feature here I want to show you. My die out, and I'm going to get a wrench up here, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this bolt here. Let's see if I can get it going here. All right, let me do it off camera. Okay, so I went ahead and loosened it, and this comes out. And then what you can do is you can take this one out and you can put in the same apparatus that's inside of your Lee, so that you can simply drop them in and turn, and then they'll be locked in. So that's another option for you guys that have a bunch of those Lee presses with that grooved die slot that you can simply drop them in and just turn without having to screw them in. So you can change this piece and put in that Lee component, and it'll do a really good job for you. So it's another option that you can use with this particular press, or I like the one that came with it, so I'm pretty good with that. All right, and if you have any questions, just shoot me an email, let me know. But that's all I have to say about this press. Oh, concentricity, seating, all that stuff just happens so much smoother on this than a lot of other presses. I'm not going to say that the other presses aren't good. I'm just saying that this thing takes up a little bit of space, and in a reloading room with lots of equipment and lots of gear, space is always at a premium. So I really like this little press. That's my little portable jobber that I take with me because it's so compact. That and the short handle takes very little space up. So you may want to consider picking one of these up. I actually got this on Craigslist, and I got it for $100, so it was an offer I couldn't refuse, as we like to say. Thanks for stopping by and watching my videos. If you get a chance, please stop by thereloadersnetwork.com. Check out the forums there. Check out the chat room. Some great content creators on there for firearms, reloading, casting, just about everything you'd ever want that's gun related. Some great people. I have a lot of good friends on there, and great resource for you to get your questions asked and answered. All right? You see that little button on the bottom? The little subscribe button? If it doesn't say subscribe, go ahead and click it now. There's a great reward on the end of it if you do that. So hit that subscribe button and follow along with the adventure. Have a great day. Bye.